You're listening to Co-op Radio, streaming at koop.org. Radio for people, not for profit. Welcome to the Austin Public Library radio show, Volumes. I'm your host, Kanya Lyons. Each week on the show, we're going to talk to librarians and some of the other superheroes who make the Austin Public Library a hub of knowledge, technology, and inspiration for our community. Volumes. We bring the library to you every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Co-op Radio. Today, we are going to interview youth librarian Ann Minner to discuss early literacy and some of the amazing programs we have at the library to help out with that. But before we get there, we're going to talk about some upcoming events at the library. Every week at the library, we have all kinds of classes, programs, events, fun stuff happening at branch locations across the city. And here are some librarians to tell you about the upcoming highlights.
My name is Blair Parsons, and I am a reference librarian at the Falk Central Library. Thursday, December 1st, the North Village Branch Library's Graphic Novel Book Club hosts a White Elephant Party. Participants are invited to bring their favorite graphic novel for a one-off graphic novel show and tell. The White Elephant Party begins at 6 o'clock Thursday, December 1st. The Graphic Novel Book Club's traditional meeting format will return in January. Sunday, December 4th, the Falk Central Library hosts its first of 3 holiday classical guitar concerts. The Austin Classical Guitar Ensemble will perform holiday songs. The concert begins at 2 o'clock at the Falk Central Library. Additional concerts will be held Sunday, December 11th and Sunday, December 18th.
This is Kathleen Houlihan, the teen librarian at the Falk Central Library downtown, bringing you all the teen and tween events happening across the Austin Public Library system for the upcoming week. On Thursday, December 1st, the Falk Central Library will be holding a NaNoWriMo party to celebrate the young writers who participated in National Novel Writing Month during November. Teen authors will read from their manuscripts and then hear from a panel of authors about the messy process of revision. That's 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. At 6:30, there'll be a support and resources information session for parents and families of teens with mental health and drug abuse issues at the Hampton branch at Oak Hill from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Also on Thursday, there'll be a Chibi-tastic drawing workshop at the Little Walnut Creek branch at 5 p.m., where teens and tweens can learn how to draw super cute manga-style characters. If you can't make this session, there's a second one on Monday, December 5th at 3:30 at the Hampton branch at Oak Hill. On Tuesday, December 6th at 5 p.m., the library is hosting Sew Happy at the Manchac Road branch, where teens and tweens can learn to sew. And the University Hills branch will host a Teen and Tween STEAM event at 5 p.m. Then from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., teens, tweens, and their families are invited to the Falk Central Library downtown for Tabletop Tuesday, a family game night for all ages. And on Wednesday, December 7th at 3 p.m., the Carver branch will host free play video gaming. At 3:30, the Felt Friends World Tour will teach teens and tweens how to sew a cuddly polar bear pin at the Windsor Park branch. At 5 p.m., teens can join the Anime Club at the University Hills branch or the Chess Club at the Willie Mae Kirk branch. More library programs and details are at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Ann Minner, Youth Services Manager and Children's Librarian at the Old Quarry Branch. I get to tell you about the Austin Public Library events happening for children this next week. The Nutcracker is a classic, charming tale of holiday adventure that follows a little girl's journey through a fantasy world of fairies, princes, and an army of mice. Enhanced by Tchaikovsky's much-loved score, Literature Live brings the story to life with puppets. This holiday classic is recommended for ages 5 and up. Literature Live's run of The Nutcracker continues this week with performances Thursday the 1st at 6:30 p.m. at the Manchac branch, Friday the 2nd at 10:15 a.m. at the University Hills branch, Saturday the 3rd at 1 p.m. at Recycled Reads, the used bookstore. Tuesday the 6th at 10:15 a.m. at the Cepeda branch, and Wednesday the 7th at 10:30 a.m. at the Terrazas branch. Details and additional performance dates are at library.austintexas.gov/event-tags/Nutcracker.
The Texas Talking Book Program provides digital audio, large print, and braille books and magazines to Texans who cannot read standard print due to qualifying visual, physical, or reading disabilities. Reader advisors are on hand to help navigate patrons through thousands of titles available for download to our free digital audio player. To see if you qualify or for more information, visit www.texastalkingbooks.org.
Co-op Radio features roots programming every morning of the week. This is Rod Moog inviting you to join me for the country, swing, and rockabilly jamboree Thursday mornings from 9 to 11. Our country is classic, our swing is western, and the rockabilly is the early kind from the mid-1950s. Thursday mornings 9 to 11. Look for you there.
You are listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library's radio show here on Co-op Radio, Hornsby, Austin, 91.7 FM, and we are online right now at koop.org. And earlier you heard pre-recorded Ann Minner, but we actually have the real deal Ann Minner right here in the studio with us today. And she's going to talk to us about early literacy, the importance of talking, singing, writing, and reading with your kid as early as possible.
That's right.
But we're going to start at the beginning. So welcome. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Good.
So let's start at the beginning. So where do you come from?
I come from Southern Illinois, a town called Edwardsville near St. Louis, Missouri. But I haven't lived there in quite some time, but go Tigers.
Excellent. And then how did you find your way to Austin?
I came here for library school, actually, which is a long story, but liked the town so much that I made Austin Public Library hire me.
I kind of remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you want to tell me a little bit about what kind of motivated you to want to go to library school and become a librarian?
Sure. I think all librarians have this story, but mine starts with Oprah. I was watching Oprah, as you do, and I don't really remember who she had on. It would make the story better if I knew who this guy was, but she was talking about how to decide on a career for yourself. And he said it's really, really easy. You just have to think about what you liked as a child. And of course, she was incredulous, and she said, that sounds crazy. What if you just liked riding your bike as a child? And he had a million answers, and he said, well, then you become a professional bike racer, or you design bicycles, or you own a bicycle shop, or you become a bicycle tour guide. And he had all these answers, and she was like, wow, right? So he put her in her place. But then I don't remember the rest of the show, but I was thinking, what did I like to do when I was a kid? And of course, the first answer was be the center of attention. So I'd already done that. I had a theater degree, and I'd been a stage manager, and I'd done some stuff on stage. But that's the uncertainty of that career is hard sometimes. Yes. So my second love, of course, was being in the library, and not just reading books, but actually being in the library. Loved being there, was always relaxed, always loved talking to the librarians, looking through the stacks. I used to just pull out, this is in the ancient times, I used to just pull out the drawer for the card catalog randomly, and then open it randomly and look and see what was in there, and totally revealing my nerd side. But I decided that, you know what, maybe I should go to the library school. And so I did, and came to Austin for that and stayed.
Wow, that's such a great story. Yeah, I think a lot of us that end up working at the library sort of had that connection established with the library really early on. I know I did.
Yes.
Well, cool. So tell me about what it is that you do with us now. I know you're a youth librarian, but
yes.
what is a day in the life of Ann Minner, youth librarian at Austin Public Library?
Well, my job is slightly different than our regular stellar youth librarians in that I am a regional manager. So I get to manage 5 people that are just really fantastically wonderful up in the Northwest region. And, so I spend some time checking in with them and making sure that their timesheets are in and all that good stuff. But mostly the best parts of my days are when I go out into the stacks and I'm looking at the collection. I'm helping parents find things for their kids, helping grandparents find things for their soon-to-be babies, coming, or just kids wandering around needing help. it's a lot of fun to be with the patrons. And so a normal day is me out on the floor or me working on story times, creating flannel boards, practicing with puppets. That's really cool. And that kind of fun stuff. And then I get to read a lot. In fact, it's almost mandatory that I know the collection. So there you go.
Yay!
I know, it's a great job. And kids, if you want to go to library school, come see me. I'll talk you into it.
Well, that's excellent. Well, so why is early literacy so important? Why is it so important for these kids to get started reading as early as possible?
Well, I'll tell you, babies are born with like 100 billion brain cells, right? And they, during the first 2 years of life, they make all these connections. And it's really a case of if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So if you can get your kids into a lot of the fun things that we talk about in the Play, Read, Grow programs, you're going to help them make more connections and have an easier time because they're going to have more, brain cells. There are kids that go off to school at kindergarten that have about 5,000 words. But if you read to your child in those early years, you can boost that to 25,000 words.
Wow.
In their vocabulary. It's not hard to do. The books aren't hard, just come on in and I'll give you some and you can take them home and read to your kid. It's kind of fun. You should do it. I know you did it. I know Sachi did it.
I did. But, it's my understanding that, it also like kids that read a lot, it's connected to all kinds of different success in life, not just in doing well at school, but people are, going to carry that success throughout the rest of their life. So starting them early on books,
you really
and
can't.
Words.
You can't start too early. You really can't. And as far as reading goes, there's sort of all children develop at different times. We all know that. But in general, there's sort of a light switch that goes off in reading at around second grade somewhere. Before that, they're learning sight words. They're decoding words in beginning readers, which we have a lot of at the library if you need some beginning readers. But in second grade, usually there's some sort of light switch that flips on, and suddenly they're reading longer sentences and harder words and bigger books. And it's this sense of confidence in these children because they've been working so hard, and then suddenly it just sort of happens. But as some children struggle and that happens. Sometimes it happens a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but you can really help that along by practicing with them and by working with just some early literacy skills. And so, but if you can read in life, you can do lots of things. You can learn all sorts of new things. You can find out where you are in this country of yours. You can go to a different country and be able to read a map. I mean, there's all sorts of things that reading really helps you do.
No, absolutely. And I've seen that light bulb go off. I actually, before I worked at the library, I worked at a preschool. And so we were right with them at that age where they're starting to learn words and figure out how to sound them out. And it's such an amazing thing. And people don't understand that, it's really important to read to even babies. Like they are listening all the time. They're little sponges. And so, Well, so I wanted you to talk to us about, I was like, don't you have some resources? No, I wanted you to talk to me about.
The library has no resources.
Some of the Play, Read, Grow. I know we have them. I don't know. That was silly. But can you tell me about the Play, Read, Grow resources that we have at the library?
We have created a program called Play, Read, Grow, and it is based on 5 different activities. And it's read, write, sing, talk, play. And you do those 5 different activities with your child. When you come to the workshop, we have these 5 stations set up. And you go through reading, where you can play with what letters look like and what they sound like, and you read to your child so that they know print awareness and all this kind of good stuff. You write with your child because when they are grabbing that fat crayon and scribbling, what they're really doing is building up their fine motor skills. So later they can grab a pencil and start making letters of their own. So scribbling is very, very important to early literacy, actually. Singing, what singing does for your child is it slows down language. So when you say the words twinkle, twinkle, little star, it's pretty fast, and twinkle's kind of hard. It's got that TW, and there's a weird KL in there, and you don't know what's going. But when you sing it, you break it down into 7 different syllables, right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. And that child will sing that back to you, and suddenly they know the word twinkle. which is pretty amazing. So song really slows down language, and you can build up the vocabulary that way. Let's see, read, write, sing, talk. Of course, I know all about talking. When you talk to your child, you're opening new doors for them for how to be social with other people, but also you bring in vocabulary and you talk about what color is that, or how was your day? You ask them open-ended questions. You don't just say, do you like the leaf? You say, what color is that leaf? And they come up with colors that you never even thought of, right? So then you start rhyming words, and it's really about building vocabulary and making them comfortable talking, which is always nice. And play is the last one, which pulls them all together. And you've got puppets, and you've got dress up, and you've got play I Spy, and you've got a big box to jump in and out of. There's all sorts of things that help children interact with you and interact with the things around them.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, well, pretty much anything your baby is doing, you can kind of like jump on that. Like if they're going ba ba ba, you can go ba ba black sheep. Or
Absolutely.
turn it into a word.
Absolutely. Turn it into something that's fun. In fact, my husband, who is this pretty big guy, he stayed home and stayed with our son. And when they would get in the car, he would just talk nonstop to him. Wow. And so suddenly Travis was very, very verbal because he just talked right back. Every time we got in the car, he'd start talking too. So. Oh,
that's really awesome. Well, so I want to talk about, we have, you guys, some of the resources are a bunch of different videos, and we're going to actually play a minute-long video that is about rare words and how you can kind of help your child learn those rare words when you're reading books with them. So let's go ahead and play that clip.
Never skip over unusual words in books.
She loaded her coat hanger and held it at the perfect aerodynamic angle.
Take this opportunity to explain what each word means.
Chewy, do you know what aerodynamic means?
Nuh-uh.
Children's books contain many more rare words than everyday conversation.
Aerodynamic means it has a smooth shape, making it fast. Can you say aerodynamic?
And reading daily means your child will be learning many new words every day.
Aerodynamic. Zoom!
So that's just one of the very many amazing videos that we have. Of course, that's just the audio from the video, but you can find all this stuff on the library's website. And can you share that URL with us?
Sure. It's library.austintexas.gov/playreadgrow. All those words are together, no spaces.
Thank you. Awesome. And you guys actually have a workshop coming up, free. I mean,
welcoming to all. Yes, it's at North Village, which is on Steck Avenue, and it is Tuesday, December 6th at 10:30 a.m. It's for parents and caregivers, and of course, children are welcome.
Yay! And that's bringing us to the end of this lovely, lovely interview. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Anytime.
And yeah, you have to come back because I'm sure you got more stories for us.
I can talk all day.
Thanks so much, Ann. And we really do enjoy your clips every week, sharing the events around the city with us.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show.
On Co-op 91.7 FM, Hornsby, Austin, radio for people, not for profit.
The ticking you hear marks the passing of time, which is marching toward December 17th, the day on which Co-op Radio will have its annual birthday party, and this year it promises to be a real blast. That's right. On Saturday, December 17th at the Spider House Ballroom, it is the Co-op Blowout with 3 legends of Austin music. I am talking about the growling blues rock of Omar and the Howlers, the classic reggae sound of Pressure, and just about everything else you can imagine provided by the one, the only Joaquin Carrasco, Los Side FX. Get your tickets at spiderhouse.com or on a link from koop.org. Co-op Blowout. More information forthcoming.
And we are back with Volumes, the Austin Public Library's radio show. And next up, we are going to hear a clip from the library's Austin Creates podcast. This is episode number 2, and it features an interview with Austin hip-hop group Magna Carta, and the interview is conducted by Aaron Negron. So we're going to listen to that right now.
What are you most proud of? Like, which songs or which albums? Like,
I don't know. It's hard because when we do band songs, you would like when you start playing it, like we were jamming like new stuff for the album coming up, and you wouldn't even think like it would sound that way. Then I'll be like in the studio and I'll make it be like, oh dang, and then I hear Megs, I'm like, oh dang, like. But I would say the tape probably. I would say our latest tape, Like It Is, and our first tape, Creature Creative, because that was like our first, all right, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to just get out and do it. I think that was like, what about
I have like 3 favorites. My first one, I agree, Go, because I feel like it was a turning point for Dougie and I on a level where I think we were playing with samples and playing with new sounds on a different level than we had in the past. And so that was kind of like a stepping stone in a sense. So I was just proud to kind of make a shift. And then second one is Moon of France. I think that's one of Derek's favorites too. But Moon of France because one, I'm proud of the production. It was done kind of like from the ground up. I think a long time ago, our guitarist Eric had sent Chris a riff and he just switched it from the guitar to the keys, and then we had like a bassoon player on it. It was just like this, it was kind of like pretty cool. And then as far as subject matter goes, it was just kind of a subject where I kind of got personal, and it was written for, I have like a lot of little girl cousins, and it was written for them. And so that was kind of my first time. I'm a writer, and I mostly write fiction. So even if you listen to my music, it's mostly like made up. That's just kind of how my brain works. I like to create like from scratch. So I usually use different experiences and different people in my life and stuff. I use that as influences for it, but I never really put like my true. It's weird. Can't explain it.
It's like Ryan.
Yeah, it's like Ryan. It's like people thought Ryan was a real person, and it wasn't, and it was just kind of all made up, but it did stem from something, and it did have a personal meaning behind it, but it wasn't just like my story. So I think Moon of France is like I got more personal, and it meant something to me to write that. And then third, I'm most proud of this group that we have now, because I feel like we're together, we're cohesive. We kind of establish what we want to be, who we want to be. It's not like 100% there. We definitely kind of just accepted that this is what we're doing, and we're not trying to be like anybody else. We're not trying to fit in. We're not looking for that box we talked about earlier, because before it was just like how to get to the box, how to get to rap and hip hop, and how to, and now it's just like, I don't care where we're headed, but
it's like we showed up to the box and then we're like, I'm gonna turn around.
Like, I don't really want to be in this box. So I think we got to the box, and then we realized that we were going in the wrong direction, and now we're like back on track. And so I'm proud of who we've become.
Wow, that's a great interview, and that's just a little snippet of it. So the entire interview is available on the library's website, library.austintexas.gov/volumes. And that was an interview with Austin hip-hop group Magna Carta. And I just found out that Magna Carta is actually in today's paper. They are one of the grant nominees recognized at this year's Black Fret Black Ball. And there's information about that available at blackfret.org. And next up, I wanted to just share some information about the library because it came to my attention recently that there are some people that actually think that nobody uses the library, or only people with kids use the library, or people just go there to pick up books and they don't actually, hang out at the library. So I was just going to share some actual statistical information about the Austin Public Library. So prepare to have your mind blown. The library, the Austin Public Library, provides access to more than 1.7 million books, audiobooks, DVDs, and CDs. Those are physical materials in the library. Customers check out approximately 4.8 million physical items from the library each year. In addition, the library offers more than 200,000 ebooks, 55,500 e-audiobooks. That means it's an audiobook that you can download from a computer. That's what an e-audiobook is, in case you were curious. 13,000 e-videos. Some of those are streaming. We also have 250,000 e-music downloads. You can also stream music. There's all kinds of great stuff. And 200 e-periodicals. That means you can read the paper from all over the world using your library card. Pretty awesome. And customers check out, more than 700,000 virtual items annually. So those things are moving. And the stats just go on and on. But I'm going to stop right there because I wanted to bring Ann Minner back into the conversation. And I want to thank you once again for being here. It was so awesome.
You're welcome.
But can you please remind us again, when is the next Play, Read, Grow workshop?
The next Play, Read, Grow workshop is at the North Village branch on Steck Avenue, Tuesday, December 6th at 10:30 a.m.
And parents are invited to...
Parents, caregivers, bring their children. It's a really fun time. You'll have a good time.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, and if people want to find out more information about this thing, where can they find that?
Details are at library.austintexas.gov/playreadgrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ann.
You're welcome.
And anything library, any kind of library info, you can find out online at library.austintexas.gov. And you can also call our reference librarians at 512-974-7400. And we are just about out of time. So I just wanted to mention next week, we're going to have LaToya Devizin and Amanda Hasso, who are both community archivists from the Austin History Center. And they're going to talk about their efforts to preserve Austin's underrepresented history. And you can also find information about the Austin History Center, which is a part of the Austin Public Library, at austinhistorycenter.org. And now we're going to roll those credits. Thanks a lot, y'all. Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Details at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Want to give a special thanks to our audio engineer, DJ Harris, and our volunteer production assistant, Sev Corson.
And thanks to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song: Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and APL's very own Mike Wheat on percussion.
Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on koop.org Community Radio.